sorry, Sector. All right, let me get the game up here. Turn this down. Although I really liked it, obviously, as you guys can all tell, I like the music to this game. Very like modernized 80s, but in a better way than like the Doom soundtrack. Fuck the tutorial. I don't need no fucking tutorial.
In 2108, humanity began colonizing the stars. Their reach would eventually span a vast region of space known as the Inner Sphere.
The Inner Sector.
Its golden age under the governance of the Star League.
The golden age under the governance of Ethan Ralph.
Unprecedented peace, prosperity,
unprecedented content.
But with a great rise comes a great fall. Beset by greed and mistrust, humanity
beset by autism and retardation. The sector crumbled.
Advancement slowed. The great houses, each vying for supremacy, turned on one another, engaging in a series of conflicts known as the Succession Wars. Amidst this chaos, mercenaries became the proxy forces for the great houses. Numerous battlefields sprung up across the Inner Sphere.
It's not replacing the hot tub. There's probably still going to be a hot tub.
Known as Battle Max. The year is now 3015. And these steel behemoths have become the tools of the mercenaries' trade. It's a lucrative time, yet one beset with perils of all kinds. Only the most skilled and brave among them will rise to become legend.
No, Nemo, if he wants to block you, he's allowed to block. True. We must summon Nico the Seal. Nico the Seal is going to teach us how to defeat the Omnimax. DeBerry. I buried my dick in that ass so deep, whoever could pull it out could be called King Arthur.
The salvage crates at the last checkpoint were empty. Something's up if they're missing payments.
This is Commander Mason of Major Campbell. Make a note. Looks like someone is gonna need a lesson in paying their bills on time.
That's odd. What the hell?
Commander Mason, I repeat, a massive invasion force is attacking the front.
Whoa!
I have a visual.
It's planet-wide, sir. We are evacuating.
We need to take what we have and go.
See, Battletech is space feudalism, except actually sort of not realistic, but a lot more reasonable than 40K. 40K is very aesthetics focused, whereas the politics in Battletech feel a lot more authentic.
They're distracted with the invasion. We'll be in and out before they know we're here.
Let's hope it's not us they're after. I don't like this, son. This is a ghost town.
We're close. I can smell the seatbelts.
There's nothing here.
Relax. We'll be out of here in no time.
We're being tagged. Look out!
Ah, because being the pilot, it's about being a knight. It's about the skill. And no, because you can't remake these mechs. That's the whole idea, is you want a person in them because you need someone to preserve them. You can't just make a swarm of them. Like, I won't say the politics in Battletech are realistic, so to speak, but some of the way the states interact, and especially the way, like, the cultures, like, Earth cultures are actually preserved in this, and different systems, it feels more, I don't know, connected. Natural.
You're in no shape to fight. Meet me at the extraction point with the Leopard. Go! Now, Captain!
Damn it. On the move.
Commander, an enemy dropship is approaching your position. Move, now.
I've got eyes on. Identified. Hunchback and King Crab. Damn it.
Yeah, also ECM. That's a good point.
Any idea what these guys want?
I picked up some chatter about coordinates of some kind. That mean anything to you?
Coordinates? No.
Like, a big part of BattleTech is that a lot of the best mechs, you literally can't make new ones.
Promise me.
So you, like, it's really important to preserve them.
Captain Mason, what's your status?
I've got a bug on my tail.
Yeah, that too, Wolftown. That is definitely the main reason.
Get the bay doors open. Coming in high.
Damn, the cutscene of this level is way better than playing this level as a tutorial. It's way cooler.
Casualty count is rising rapidly. Hurry.
En route.
Honestly, what makes this game interesting is all the DLC they've added where they add the major story arcs in the BattleTech universe. I think they've actually handled them really well. Where they're all like self-contained and have their own characters. It's kind of cool. Could have been a lot worse.
Dad, we're coming.
No, leave now. The Cavaliers need you. Ugh. I'm leaving you in command. You're going to do great things. I just know it.
It is, but in 40K it's like really arbitrary. And also you get crazy shit like supposedly during the Dark Age of technology they had like weapons that could destroy entire suns and all sorts of crazy wacky shit. Whereas in this it's a lot more grounded. It's just you had factories that could make advanced parts and they got blown up. Yeah, definitely the original 40K was just really cool. Whereas BattleTech, I feel like kind of tried to explain things a little more, at least from like a top-down level, like a political sense. True, donate to Israel and Africa. Notice, despite there being, 5 successor states, none of them are based off Africa.
Commander, sorry to wake you, but our sitrep has changed. Head to the bridge as soon as possible.
Alright, how do I activate kill mode? Yeah, I'm sure it does remind you of Lost, man. Everything fucking reminds you of Lost.
Commander, good to see you up. We haven't really had a chance to speak since your father was killed. I'm not much for sentimentality, but I worked with your father for a long time. He was a good man. Hell, he sacrificed his life to save ours. I don't know what's going to happen next, but whatever it is, I'd like to be part of it. I'd like to stay on as your ops commander. That is, if you'll have me.
You kidding me? Your family, Rihanna. Or as close as I have now.
There are space communists in this game, sort of.
I need you.
There's space North Korea, more like. And they're honestly kind of based, not because they're communists, but because they're like more than space North Korea. There's more to it than that.
Which means we're going to be trapped here with a tightening noose around our
They're almost
neck
like
and
space
eventually
citizen
thinking about
soldier communism.
another mercenary outfit by the looks of it. I don't know more than that at the moment.
And these coordinates they were looking for?
Not a clue. But we're going to
I don't know. The Tau are not as bad as they used to be. There was a period in the game where there was a tactic called Fish of Fury, where because of the way hovercraft worked, Tau could just basically remove the only downside fire teams had. They couldn't be, it basically prevented them from being assaulted. And it was just total. Anytime anyone brought a Tau army into like a Games Workshop store, no one would want to play with them.
I'll let you know when I hear back from Spears.
Copy that.
Yeah, that's kind of my philosophy too, Interpol. So I like heard all that about the spelling, and then once I spelled it that way and someone got really mad at me, and then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna spell it this way from now on. The Fissure Fury, yeah.
Hey, mate. Figured you'd want an update on the Centurion. Took a bloody beating back there, so fair warning. It's gonna be a while before she's operational again. Means you're gonna have to get comfortable with the light mech over in Bay 1 for now. She's a good girl. Won't let you down, you treat her right.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, heard that before. Anyways, you know the drill. Access the repair
Yeah.
terminal here. Once you're done, I'll get started on the work, eh?
At least for a lot of the game's history, they have been. I don't know what their current status is. I haven't played 40k since... Damn, it must have been 5th edition. 4th to 5th edition. Like early 2010s. Yeah, I know how to play the game. Alright, we got a painter mix. What colors do you guys like? We got a lot of patterns here. This is like camo. This is like crisscross. Crusader, which is like a cross. Davian. Hot Rod. Whoa. You Teal. Like Peter Teal. Oh, this has all the, like... Oh, this has a Celtic knot. Storm Surge. Look, it's all moving around. Super Tartan. Let's fucking go. All right, what should go with teal? Not pink, that's for sure. Be like a dark. I don't know. I'm not a color theory guy. I'm not a color theory guy. Oh, this looks okay. Hold on. What are we looking at here? Go off, Nemo. Go off in the chat. You have my blessing. Yeah, I was thinking green, teal, and white. Maybe this should be the green. Maybe I'm looking for like a dark green. We're gonna look very Irish. Ooh, gold. I like that. I like the idea of gold here. We'll start with this and see how we go. Yeah, so, well, this is Robotech. They just had to rename it. Also, this is a small javelin. Really? You're gonna fuck up my thing? Did you just fuck up my color? Alright. There we go. For some reason, the painting in this can sometimes be very, very annoying. Yes, this is our TAG one. TAG. Need. All right. This setting, I don't know. Like I said, I find the politics in this setting to be kind of more interesting than 40K.
Hey, Commander. I've received a transmission from
I guess this setting just feels like a lot more grounded. I like that. Also,
Rihanna,
it never left the 80s. Like, whereas 40K got forced out of the 80s, this setting really never left the attitude of the 80s.
Will be sorely missed. I assume his son will be taking over the operation. Nikolai was always
No, so originally this Battletech, sorry, I made a mistake here. So originally it was called Battle Droids. They got sued by George Lucas for the term droids. Changed it to Battletech. They also stole a bunch of Robotech designs and then added some. And then those are considered unseen mechs that you can't play. But they've slowly bought most of the rights to them over the years. It's like a whole thing.
It's little more than a hunk of ice with a few leftover mining operations on it. There's an abandoned power station there. Now, I've got it on good authority that local raiders are using it as a secret cache for their ill-gotten goods. I know you can use.
There are chicken leg mechs in this.
And I expect you'll find what you need at that location. I've attached the exact coordinates to this message.
Yeah, that is more of an Aquamarine. You're right.
I'll contact you again.
Well, you guys got to post color codes.
Be safe.
All right.
I'm not a color theory guy. I don't know anything about it.
Input the coordinates. All I need is for you to sign off and get us there.
Understood.
Yeah, it was kind of lame. Honestly, the Japanese companies being mad that they were using their designs, I kind of get that. Although they did own the right. So it's very confusing. There's like two companies. One owned temporary rights. The other didn't. When the companies switched the Battletech, like the Battletech IP, the rights didn't go with it. So then you have all these original mechs that are unseen. Slowly in the 2000s, and that led to like a big crash in Battletech when it was just starting to get popular. Then slowly over like 20 years, they slowly bought a lot of them back. You'll be able to tell which are based off of Robotech, like the Warhammer mech. There's a mech called Warhammer. It's like a very famous mech, very cool. It looks just like a Robotech mech. Speculations on why Swan's... I don't know anything about Swan's personal life, I'll be real. I thought I heard her... There was one time I thought it was her kid in the background. Turns out it was her bird. So, I don't know. Adam served the rib. That is one of the most brutal insults I've ever heard. Is, I heard someone call... Well... I can't remember if he said this publicly or not. Who cares? He's not going to care. Once Mr. K called Swan to me a dusty old rib, and I was like, dude, that's brutal.
You should be able to make your way through the pass undetected. That javelin you're piloting is lightly armed, Commander. But what it lacks in firepower and armor, it makes up in speed and mobility. I'm sure you wish the Centurion would...
Alright, so we don't have side buttons on our mouse here. So I'm gonna have to actually use the numpad with this, which kind of sucks. I think I actually have a old... It's not even mine, I think it's my dad's old flight stick somewhere. Because the way I got into Battletech is my dad played Mechwarrior 1 and 2. And so he got me Mech Assault on the Xbox. and I know he had a flight stick for this stuff. So I think it somehow came into my possession at some point. It might be in a garage somewhere.
Perimeter defenses won't be. My guess, the raiders will have turrets stationed around the perimeter. If that's the case, it means they must have a generator close by. Find and destroy that generator before assaulting the plant.
Yeah, I hope so, Wolf Tome. Like I said, I don't think he's fully decided yet whether he's going to come back or not. But it's good a time as any to take a break, 4th of July and everything. And I don't really think anything he would say would kind of help him, considering the things people are mad at him about right now are just total bullshit, are literally just to try to get him to do something stupid. So I think it's best, you know, him taking a break is fine. It's better than him getting upset or anything.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, it is funny that Godwinson only showed up to shit on Brian. I mean, Jim is like that too. Jim decided to finally return to talking about something other than loving Israel, basically because of Brian, and to a lesser extent because of Ralph. I know people probably think it's just because of Ralph, but I don't know. You hear his voice in some of those streams about Brian, and to me, Ralph is obviously part of it, but kind of only second banana. Probably old enough to be. She's probably old enough to be my mother.
There's a large chunk of ice blocking the path down to the generator.
Or not. I actually don't know. I don't know why I would say that, because I don't know. I honestly don't know anything about Swan's, like, her age or her personal life or anything. That's just the rumor, at least. People always say that she's old. That is kind of a funny character type, setting aside Swan, like the idea that there would be kind of like an older retired woman in the sector. Where she's like in a position where you can't really do anything, like she has like a whole brood of children. So it's like, what are you gonna do, dox her? Then like 5 like sons show up and kill you? Like, you know? That'd be a funny character. But I think Medicare hates Brian by far. Like, don't get me wrong, like, there's clearly something going on with Ralph, as proven today by him making that crazy fucking video. Like, the idea that Mr. Medicare would make a video like that, where he was so protective about his identity, he wouldn't take pictures of anything. And then, you know, it started to slowly trickle out with pictures of his house, you know, his decorations, whatever, that's fine. But then something like this, where he's, like, showing his body and stuff, damn, that's crazy. So I won't completely say that there isn't anything personal with Ralph, but I don't know, it seems different with Brian.
Okay, there's the geothermal power plant up ahead. There's a number of storage buildings in and around the plant itself. I suspect that's where they're storing their loot. Time to smash and grab.
And you were really on the Swan train recently, Nemo. I don't really know why. I don't know. I don't know. Go off, King. I ain't gonna hold you back. I think if you want any influence there, you might have to get maybe more involved in Discord than you'd want, though. My understanding is that she kind of is all in that stuff. By that stuff, I haven't seen anything bad. I just mean Discord servers and stuff. Like sector ones. They're intellectual equals. So I'll tell you where the hate comes from, because I kind of feel the same way, where I didn't really feel much hate, but the minute you start, even if you don't, like, it was never your intent interacting with Brian, the more that it starts to turn into hate. And I'll give you a personal example. The only interaction I've ever had with Brian under his own name, like, we're discounting his like fake Twitter, 2 fake sock Twitter accounts, right? Is that stream where I called into Mr. K, and I was unironically more or less defending Brian. I was like, look, these people fuck with him. They lead him by the nose to get him into these bad recordings. Then they release them. They do it over and over again. It's clear the guy has issues. He's mentally ill, and people are taking advantage of him. That's basically what I said. Right? So, you know, it's not a Brian's evil and he's plotting the end of the world type thing. I generally portrayed him as at least partially a victim. He calls in and he starts chimping. I mean, this is anyone here has probably heard this call in where he just starts screaming at me and being like, you're in this, you're mad at me. Like he took one line, which is me talking about how he is demonstrably in these discords where gay shit happens, and most of the time he's the victim of it, which was my whole point for bringing that up. And he decides to then say, well, you're in all of these too. You're in all of them with no evidence, right? You're in all of them too. You're doing the same thing. So he discounts 99% of what I said, where I said that, unfortunately, he's the victim of a lot of this gay Discord shit. And instead focuses on the mere assertion, the assertion that is undeniable, that he is indeed in these Discords where he gets embarrassing calls recorded that are then used to justify all of the illegal bad stuff that happens to him that shouldn't happen to him. And that's how I knew that chatter the other day was him. Was because when I'm spending 60% of the stream calling Shaggy a PDF and calling the Norwegian a PDF, when he comes in and then explicitly saying, well, you know, unfortunately, despite the fact Brian shouldn't have been the focus of this, he was because of, like, his poor reaction to it. He comes in and starts screaming about how he's being called a PDF. I'm like, oh, that's Brian. Because that is, like, for some reason, a part of his mental illness. And that's where the hate comes from, man. It's not because I don't think the guy is a predator. I really don't think he's, like, particularly evil. I think he's a pathological liar, unfortunately. And it's possible to be a pathological liar and not be evil, because it's compulsive, and you can lie about stupid shit. Okay? And it's just... It basically punishes all the wrong people and rewards all the right people. So it punishes anyone giving you any credit or any good faith or any kind of anything. And it rewards the people who want you to look bad. And so then at a certain point, you kind of just throw your hands up, right? That's where I think a lot of people get with him. And I try not to get there with him by just not interacting with him, because that's the way you do it. You just don't. You just don't. And that's why I haven't. I have no private, I have no DMs with him. I have nothing. I've had like a very strict no, as far as I can do it, no policy with him. And so that's where I think that, honestly, that's where I think that it's like a slowly I began to hate them type thing. Where at first it's like, oh, well, this guy's an idiot, but he's not evil, he's not wrong or whatever. And then he punishes you for saying that. And so then he does it over and over and over again until eventually it's just like, well, fuck you. And you can see that that's the exact trajectory that happened with guys like Godwinson or Jubb. Because in that call that Godwinson leaked, they are being nice to him. They're telling him what's probably going to be in the video. They're telling him that he probably shouldn't overreact. They are honestly giving him good advice and being charitable. And what is his response? It's to chimp the fuck out and treat them like they're enemies. So, you know, you can kind of see a direct line from that call to the Bryoshima stream. Yeah, I saw that picture, Nemo. I don't know. I don't even know if that's him. There's also the other picture of Brian that's a lot more explicit. That's very obviously not him. That's just a lookalike. So I don't know. Yeah, almost like Hujin. It's very similar. He proved without a doubt that I was in a group chat with House and Mr. K, and if you look in that group chat, it's, when are we calling in? When are we doing Kino Cartel? And no response, which is why Mr. K was bitching about that. But that's it. And so that apparently is the equivalent of him being in a bunch of Discords where they record his calls about him talking about the craziest shit possible. That was his point, to be fair to him. To be a guy who LARPed as Brian, you can tell when it is him. I don't know. He's been stalking for so long. He has such a like clear footprint. There are things he does, and you don't even need to really be an expert. Literally, basically, all you need to do to be able to identify a sock of his is just read his thread once, and then you'll see like all of the tells. Excuses, true. Speaking of Liquid Brian, there's that guy Liquid Sonic that I want to watch some of his videos. There's 2 videos he made recently that look interesting. I think there's one that's vaguely about Nicholas, and then there was another one too. I forget. Can we get into the real game, please?
Quite the haul, but don't go getting stars in your eyes or nothing. I'm over.
Yeah. I'm trying to get through this initial stuff so we can get to the real game. Mr. K left on it. Yeah, that is the funny thing. That's why I think it's so funny people talking about DMs. Pretty much all my DMs with any of these guys are like the group with like House and Miss. I already told you what my DMs for House were, but the ones with Mr. K and House are just trying to plan Collins and then no one responding. That's it.
While you were planetside, I got word from Spears about the plan he's put in place for us. Take a listen.
Rihanna, Commander, good news. I think I can get you safely past the blockade with the aid of a local mining company. To make everything work,
Too bad Cast Iron isn't here. If he was, he would immediately recognize this voice actor as the voice actor is the guy from Deus Ex Human Revolution.
For all intents and purposes.
I know he likes that game. I do too.
I'll match that number to a new name of your choosing once the time comes. So think about what you want to call yourselves. While I arrange that, you're going to have to do a little work for the mining company in exchange for their cooperation. If things go well, they've agreed to hire you to transport some precious cargo out of the system aboard an inbound jump ship. Using the new mercenary ID and with a legitimate contract in hand, you should have no problem slipping through the blockade. I've attached the particulars to this message.
No, it's never going to happen, Shrek. If it does, it's going to be like the last one where he calls in and they yell at each other.
The mission is a straight-up protect and defend op. Seems these raiders have been harassing the mining company, among others. Stealing from them, extorting them, killing innocent civilians when their demands weren't met. I've uploaded the pertinent details into the mission briefing. So
Can't kill the hostages.
You're good to launch.
At least not all of them.
Roger that. I'll see you on the other side.
The weather's really kicking up, Commander. Your visibility will be limited.
Probably watching Jesse. Oh, I didn't know he was live tonight. Wasn't he just live the other day to do the Merch Pool stuff? Merch Cruise stuff? I didn't know something new happened on that front. Where's the part? I mean, it's kind of crazy because I'm trying to remember what I said when I did my little video covering that. I think my conclusion was that there was a bet, but Josh lost that fucking bet. Let's be real. And they both clearly showed intent to enter into that. Josh was very confident.
Okay, Commander. We know very little about these.
Yeah, we go together like ham and cheese, Kino.
Sharp lookout for enemy units on your approach to that settlement.
Copy that.
No, that stream was today. Oh, well. I try to catch them when he does go live because I don't pay for. I'm not like behind the paywall, so that's all I get. The reason I thought that was because I remembered the stream that I originally was going to do Mersh. I got derailed by Hujan, and I was like, thank God I got derailed by Hujan because Jesse just happened to be talking about this today, and there's nothing I was going to, like, any novel take I was going to have. And then when I finally did do Mersh, all I did was talk about better cruise lines than the one he was on for 20 minutes.
Brianna, something's interfering with my sensors.
I think the raiders have set up some sort of jamming device nearby. I'll see if I can locate it.
Come on. Some medium lasers, man. You can't be in one of these things with just the medium lasers when you got flying targets. You need either missiles or, if you're a good shot, guns. Although missiles are always the best against flying targets, pretty much. So you're getting some wacky model weapon types. Bro, you really hit the Highland Park hard tonight, Nemo. I don't think so. I just know most of what Jesse does is behind his paywall. And then he does occasionally stream on YouTube for like big events, but then it usually turns into a paywall. I don't know. I don't really have anything too much against that. It's, if that's the model you're gonna go with, that's the model you go with. And if people are willing to pay for it, then, you know, it is what it is. I don't really find much profit in whining about that stuff like that. It's like either it's good enough to carry the audience or it's not. Something's behind the paywall, it's usually fun. Well, that is true. That's the other aspect of the paywall. Is that sometimes you do the paywall so that you can do things that you can't do live. I guess that, like watching movies, that would be nice. Because I wish I could watch movies, like, do movie streams. They'd be so insufferable. Everyone would hate them. Because I'd pause every 2 minutes. Especially movies that I really like, that I have a lot to say about.
These civilians are safe for the moment. Unfortunately, it appears the raiders aren't done causing trouble just yet.
You can play this game pretty fine on a mouse and keyboard, honestly. The Mechwarrior games used to be like that, where you really needed a fucking flight stick. You don't for this game. This game is pretty well acclimatized. The only thing I would say is really helpful is if you have shoulder buttons on your mouse. And I'm using a $2 Logitech shitbox mouse, because this is the, like, clean PC. The setup that we can move wherever we want. So I don't have the shoulder buttons on this, but that's the only thing I would say is pretty helpful. Yeah, Recada's locals. Well, that was a little different because there's like a whole chat and everything. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Yeah, I mean, I have a big backlog of like bad movies that like me and my friends used to watch in college and basically do that are crazy. But I think a lot of them are things people, I don't know, a lot of that sort of content has already kind of been, the well has been drawn, you know?
You're going to have to manage as best you can until you're able to take it out.
You just want, yeah. No, I know, I'm not saying anyone's criticized. I just have heard people criticize stuff like that before, and so I was just talking about it. For archival purposes, especially old stuff, I guess maybe what you would... See, there's two impulses. One of them is to make some of the older stuff free after a while. The other is, well, no, you don't want to make it free. That way you can advertise how much you're getting, the value you're getting by paying, you know? Damn, you're really going hard on this, Nemo.
Your sensors should have cleared up.
Yeah, much better.
True Beezer content. But it really is, now that they have their own well, are they still doing that? Are they still doing, what do they call it, the knockoff Kumite, the new Kumite? They were doing it like every Saturday or Sunday before. Damn, we're damaged on the shoulder. That's actually a good place to be damaged on this mech. What you don't want are the arms. Yeah, the thing Shreks know, there are some movies where that's perfect. Like, there are some movies where you can all be drinking and just scream over the movie, and it's Kino, right? Like The Amazing Bulk. I don't know, I'm sure you guys know what that is. It's been covered to death on YouTube. But there was one event I did. We did a Friendsgiving in London. This was back when I was living in Europe. So all my friends who were also in Europe, who were Americans, all got together in London, in my friend's flat in Fulham. And we did a Friendsgiving, and we watched, we call it's Friendsgiving, but then I called it Thanksgoing, because it's, you know, Thanksgiving. Anyway, sorry. We watched The Amazing Bulk, and we watched, I forget what it's called, but it's the movie about the Burbank Kung Fu Club getting stranded on an island where they end up finding Nazi zombies, and there's like a whole battle. And a guy's head gets run over. like in real life, and they like kept it in the movie. Anyway, those are movies where you can all like play a drinking game and drink and talk over it and whatever, and no one. What the fuck happened there? I just got fucking sniped. Holy shit! Huh. I never seen that. Well, I have seen that before in this game. I just haven't had it happen like that on this early. Sorry. Anyway, so the Amazing Bulk in that movie. And those are movies you can sit through and you can drink and talk and no one cares. Other movies, not so much. You just got to know the audience. You'll be honest, you're getting vertigo closing your eyes. Only close one eye. If you're really, really drunk and you're having trouble seeing, you close one eye. You see Ralph do it all the time.
Okay, Commander. We know very little about these raiders' overall strength or sheer numbers, so keep a sharp lookout for enemy units on your approach to that settlement.
Copy that.
Yeah, that's true, Wolftone. But I would say that only wraps around to being funny because PPP is there. Because you can just like zoom in on PPP's face as Josh says crazy shit like that, and you're just like, what? Yeah, just close one eye. Or just close both eyes and just listen to the stream for a little bit, and then open it after your brain sort of reboots. Yeah, you're adapting. Exactly. It's powerful, man. Good work.
Please help us.
Yeah, the 90s. So, there was. I used to have this tradition called movie night with my friends, where we'd pick a friend. We had all these rituals and stuff, but they'd pick a movie to watch. And the way we'd pick the movie is we'd go to this place. It was the last place, the last movie rental in our town. That was still being run by this Asian couple who also ran like a computer repair out of it, and we were literally the only customers left, to the point where the wife would always tell me that every time I brought a new friend in, she would let me take another free movie as a rental, which is why we did movie night out of that place. And one time we did get the 90s Mario movie, and we got so fucking drunk and watched it. That shit is kino to watch when you're like really blasted and are just not even paying attention, because it's a trip. And yeah, I know everybody knows about it. It's not like some new discovery or anything, but it is a fun experience. That's kind of how the way you have to view those old movies is, honestly, even if you've already watched some like YouTuber kind of tear it apart and laugh at it, the experience of actually just watching it with your friend is always going to be better than the YouTuber experience. Perfect example. One of these movie nights, we were going through the like old pile and we found this movie Cyborg 2 from the 90s. And it was like, I think it's Angelina Jolie's, like one of her first movies. And this movie was made on a fucking shoestring budget. And it's like a cyberpunk sci-fi movie. And honestly, for as cheap as it was, kind of actually good. Kind of actually like an interesting like cyberpunk type story. It definitely got the mood down despite being super cheap and super like C movie, right? And you'll just have you can like find weird gems like that in those old movie stores. That's why it's kind of a shame that they're gone. You don't really have that same experience of just digging in and picking something. We ended up watching, and if you're asking about, if you're thinking about Cyborg 1, I don't even know. I don't know, we just got Cyborg 2. We ended up finding there was a Cyborg 3 that was very clearly filmed in like, you know, kind of right outside LA. There's some places right outside LA that are famous for being very cheap to film in, like drier areas, like kind of pseudo desert scrub. And it was about like a side post, it was like move the timeline forward. So it was completely separated from the previous movie. And it was like there was like a cyborg, I don't know if it was a school or an orphanage, and they had to defend it, and it was just a total shit show. Not as good as Cyborg. It was good in like a bad way, where Cyborg 2 was actually kind of interesting for as bad of a movie as it was.
The jamming device the Raider set up is at the top of this pass, Commander.
Well, Zardoz is a work of art. Zardoz is a very intentional work. Yeah, well, this was like the literal last place. I don't even know if they're still around. I should go drive back there and see. Because this was like 10 years ago. But it was just really funny. It was just piles of old movies, and anyone who went in, she'd give you a deal. There was actually like an article written about it as being one of the last places like that in LA County, I think.
Okay. With that jamming device eliminated, your sensors should have cleared up.
Is Troll 2 worth watching? 100%. Watch Troll 2.
Onboard radars should also be operational.
Maximum Overdrive? Is that the one with, Carradine?
That mining facility is getting hit hard, Commander.
Oh, the one, Stephen King. No, I haven't seen that then. There's a movie like that, Maximum Force, Maximum something, with David Carradine with the big sci-fi gun. I've seen Sword and Sorcery now. The other one I want to watch is Excalibur. I don't know. There's always more movies. Like the list is so long, man. Anytime I feel like I've seen quite a few movies, I look at the list and it's just so long of like both good and bad movies that I want to watch. I want to watch Excalibur. I want to watch the Jan Hus trilogy. Especially after Marketa Lazarova, even though I know that they're totally different, but good Czech movies. What makes it so they do work aside from the flight stick. It's just very clear that they were designed with a flight stick in mind. Part of it is the like pseudo 3D graphics that are actually 2D. Gives you more control over turning. Turning becomes very important, even more than in this game. Okay. Got it. Fuel low. The other one of those bad movies that everybody talks about because RLM did them that's actually honestly worth watching is Surviving Edged Weapons. I know it's like a meme because RLM covered it and said it was amazing, but Surviving Edged Weapons is actually really fun to watch, like with your friends while you're all talking or whatever. There's like a certain class of movies that we try to keep around that are like, we're talking about stuff and drinking, but we want something in the background type movies. Survived Edged Weapons is one of them. Another one is the classic one that we've been doing since high school is The Big Lebowski. And for anyone who hasn't seen The Big Lebowski or only seen it once, you might think that's kind of crazy because The Big Lebowski has this like crazy or this weird complicated plot and stuff, but once you've seen it like once or twice, it's just a funny thing to put on the background because anytime you turn to look at it, there's going to be like a banger line. I'm getting another drink. Give me maybe 20 seconds. All right, we're back. Yeah, I really like the Coen brothers. The Coen brothers are really good, which is crazy because, well, they have a very, despite being, obviously being Jewish, they have a very, a non-Jewish, on top, like, a very non-Jewish outlook that's presented in a lot of their movies, or at least a lesser rabbinical one. But yes, I really like the Coen brothers. Like, especially No Country for Old Men is a very not Jewish film. Now, I know that they do have the one that's about, like, the Jewish neighbor, but I hear that even that one is very not Jewish. Hail Caesar? Hail Caesar is literally about how Hollywood is a, like, a naive Jewish communist plot. But in any case, they're good filmmakers. Here's my controversial take of the night. It's possible to be extremely Jewish and still be a good filmmaker. Whoa. You just gotta know what you're dealing with. You just gotta know the author. Just gotta know the author and understand the way they look at the world. And then you can engage with their work. The rightness and wrongness of a person's worldview is independent from the rightness or wrongness or the quality of the art that they make. Now, you can notice some trends, some probabilities, but I'm saying in absolute terms. Plenty of movies made by people I fundamentally disagree with about a bunch of stuff that are very, very good. Or books.
Commander, it turns out the bastards who attacked
my favorite Kubrick movie is Doctor Strangelove, by far.
Unfortunately, that's
every time I make a new friend, like a new really good friend, and I want them to be more, like, you know, we hang out all the time, we do all sorts of stuff, we watch Doctor Strangelove, just because I think it's hilarious.
We have more pressing concerns.
And it's good. But I like all of them. I think Full Metal Jacket is also very good, but I think it's overrated.
You're free to launch whenever you're ready, Commander.
The Thing is a masterpiece. I haven't seen any of the other stuff that you're talking about, like the prequel. I've only seen the original. John Carpenter is great. Escape from LA is great. Big Trouble in Little China, fucking great. Honestly. But it's other Kubrick films, Paths of Glory, for obvious reasons, and probably people know why I like that one. Full Metal Jacket, like I said, I think it's great, but I think it's kind of overrated, at least in the way people talk about it. Doctor Strangelove is number one. The Shining. So the thing is, I'm just not really a horror guy. And I don't mean that in like a horror is a bad genre. I don't mean that at all. I just mean personally. Like even like I really like the Robert Eggers movies, but not for the horror element. I like them for like the psychological or the philosophical, I like the way that he is able to take a fundamentally foreign worldview and present it as foreign as it should be. Especially something like The Northman, but even other things. Also, I like The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is really unique because, so I when I was a kid, I had one of those big books that's all of H.P. Lovecraft's written works. They're in the order that he wrote them with a little preface about the context. And in that, at the end, he wrote an essay that basically defined what he called weird fiction is, which is what he kind of put his own works in the genre. And I've never really seen a good adaptation of weird fiction as it's defined. Oh, what should we paint our Centurion? What colors? What we should Escape from New York, yes, is the good one. LA sucks, kind of. I mean, it does suck, but I get it. Anyway, so he explained kind of what weird fiction is, and The Lighthouse is the first film I've ever seen that managed to actually fulfill what kind of put together what Lovecraft described as what the genre of weird fiction is, and put it to screen. And I think that's really good. There have been other Lovecraft movies. Some of them are even, you know, not terrible. But as far as fulfilling what was set out in that specific essay, I think it's very unique. Purple. Okay. Well, we got to go with a pattern. Do we want Polygon? Razzle Dazzle. Whoa. Storm Surge. This is all moving around. Tartan, we already did that. Tiger. Let's see. Oh, we could have like Cobra scales. And yeah, sort of like a copper orange, like I'm a copperhead. You get a cat and name it after Lovecraft's cat. I myself do not own a cat. I wish I did. Looking for Triarii is the infinitive form, right? It should be Triarius, shouldn't it? Let's see where 4 years of Latin takes us. Yes, Triarius. Yeah. Because we're a centurion. No. No. Have I seen the Halo show? So I have this thing where if I'm with all of my friends and we're sitting on the couch and we don't know what to watch, I will go into HBO, one of these streaming services, and I try to find the most paused, terrible thing possible and just put it on until a decision is made, because it forces decision making, right? So there have been a couple shows I've rotated through to put on to force decision making. One of them was, there was this show on HBO back during like peak 2020 that was about a trans black woman in New York bumbling around. I don't even know what it was. There was also a show called Black Girl Comedy I would put on. One of those shows that I used to put on to force a decision was the Halo show. And the way you know it was bad is I think that despite me putting it on to force a decision at least a dozen times, we only ever got through half the first episode. Hardware and Wake and Fright. Epic. Thank you. Okay, we're just doing one mech. 2000 A Space Odyssey. I love 2000 A Space Odyssey. I did like it more as a kid than I like it now. But I think I've sort of been spoiled by Tarkovsky's Solaris, considering that he made it as a direct response to Space Odyssey. And I get it. I get it. I get why. There's a very good book about Tarkovsky where he talks about why he felt he had to make a response to Space Odyssey with something like Solaris, and I kind of get it. Although I still think it's a great movie.
Don't show them any mercy.
Mess with the bull, you get the horns.
All right, what do we got here? See, I have to press 3 now. I can't just... Yeah, there we go. Epic.
They must have detected us on the way in.
Yeah, Escape from New York is really good. What would my idealized Halo show? So I talked about this a little bit last time. In the current environment, where a lot of the old writers in Hollywood who had been trained in sort of like basic storytelling techniques, it's 2001: A Space Odyssey, dude. It's not 2000. Fuck! What's our ammo look like on the gun? 77? Alright, so we can kind of use it. I only watched American remake of Solaris, and it was pretty good. There's still time to delete that message. I get it, man. If you haven't seen the original, I can see why you wouldn't know why the American remake is so bad. Why it totally misses the entire point of the original Solaris. But it's tough, man. It's tough.
Eagle inbound, Commander. Keep an eye out above you.
Boom! Got it. Anyway, what I was saying about the idealized Halo show is in the current environment where there's a total no, an America remake is not instant bad, but it is for that. It is for that. For Solaris. In the current environment where a lot of like the basics have been lost, or not lost, but just were not successfully passed down through numerous reasons, I would say that if there was a Halo show, I would want them to literally directly adapt the games. And if they have to add any, buddy, if you thought Stalker was a bit much, then you probably aren't gonna like Solaris. Solaris is... If what I think you mean by a bit much is true, which I could be wrong, then Solaris is a bit much even more. Solaris... Okay, here's a secret, guys. Here's a secret to you 15 people. I was not kidding when I said I was going to do a Mandalorian and Grogu video. The plan is and was, because I've been waiting for it to get out of theaters to pirate it, obviously, because I'm not going to fucking go see it in theaters, was to do a 30-second review of Mandalorian and Grogu as a bait and switch, and then the rest of the video is going to be about Solaris. Because Solaris is all about why sci-fi is gay as a genre, and why the American obsession, and not just the... No, I shouldn't say American, because obviously the Soviet Union cared about it too. But the human obsession with space is basically metaphysically bankrupt. And so it was going to be 30 seconds of Mandalorian and Grogu, which I didn't know whether it was going to be good or not at the time, when I thought of this idea. And then the rest of it was just going to be about this movie, about why sci-fi is like... about why, like, the problems with, like, why sci-fi as a genre is metaphysically bankrupt. That was gonna be the joke, right? Don't tell anyone. No, chat doesn't have bad taste. Don't say that. If that was true, I would say it. I disagreed with the Solaris US remake is good. But other than that, ESO posted 2 recommendations above, which is more than you have, Nemo. So, what do you say about that, bish? Yes, well, Stalker is meant to be draining. That's the idea. The live-action Scooby-Doo movie. Let's go. What about live-action Scooby-Doo as it was originally intended? War of the Worlds 2025. True. True. Armand White is Kino, though. See, here's the thing you got to understand about Armand White, okay? The reason you read Armand White is not because of how he rates or doesn't rate a certain movie. The reason that I wholly recommend that you read Armand White's reviews is because within his review of something where he gives like the craziest rating or take possible, like saying Superman is the best movie of the year, like the old not the old Superman, the Man of Steel, he will drop so much film lore on you that that alone makes the review worth reading. Like Armand White is unironically, like he will drop like 7 references to really good movies that are totally worth watching and are really interesting, and he'll have like great analysis for them, and none of them will be the movie he's reviewing in that review. So like he'll say that Superman is the best movie ever, which is like insane, right? And then in that he will put you on to 7 other movies and give you a really good analysis of them. A Man Escaped, true. The real red pill is true. Stick with Angry Joe. Although, isn't Angry Joe washed? I mean, he's been washed for years, but now the Horde is starting to go after him. Rightfully. I mean, I have no sympathy for fucking Angry Joe, but I never really saw the appeal. Honestly, I saw I saw more appeal to I saw more appeal to fucking Nostalgia Critic than Angry Joe, I'll be real. I watched more Nostalgia Critic than Angry Joe. Because I feel like Nostalgia Critic is the perfect non-lolcow, where in a lot of ways you think he should be a lolcow, but because he manages to follow some very specific rules. Come on, lock on, you butt bitch. But because he follows some very specific rules, he isn't. And specifically, he like doesn't care if you don't like what he does. And he doesn't get into big fights. He lets other people manage some of the more controversial aspects. Like the Wall review. Everyone hated that. Because it was like crazy that he's going to criticize the Wall, right? What was his response to that? Nothing. He didn't give a fuck. He's just like, there's my Wall review. I don't care. And you'd think a guy like as autistic and weird as him would be a lolcow, but he hasn't. You know why? Because all he did was just keep chugging. Think about Pop Quiz Hotshot, that whole failure. Melvin, brother of the Joker, right? All that shit failed. What was his response? Was it to give up? Was it to melt down and chimp out? No, you know what he did? He put the fucking Nostalgia Critic hat back on and just kept making his slop vids. You know why? Because it makes money and because it works. He had the humility to be like, you know what? The audience doesn't like this. The audience doesn't want this. Whatever. I had a good thing going. I'm just going to go back to it. And a lot of people made fun of him for that. For retiring the critic and then going back. But that was the most, like, self-aware, normal, sane thing any of the guys in that whole fucking sector ever did. Like, this guy isn't getting swatted. This guy isn't having constant meltdowns. This guy isn't spoony. He's not even as bad as Angry Joe. No, he just put the hat on and kept going. And as silly as he is, as funny as, like, as stupid as the videos are, as bad as the skits are, he had the good sense to shut the fuck up, go back to what got him views, and then never engage at all with anything. Even think about Change the Channel. Change the Channel comes out. What was Nostalgia Critic's response? Oh yeah, nothing. Nothing really. Because he knew he could just sit it out. He knew that he didn't have to respond. That he didn't have to do anything. That the heat was on all these other people. That should have been a nuclear moment for anyone else who actually had the lolcow gene. So despite, he's a great example of a guy who looks like he has the lolcow gene, but somehow doesn't. Somehow doesn't. It's crazy. Well, it's funny because James Rolfe, like an angry video game nerd, has a larger base of people who hate him than Nostalgia Critic, I think. Like, somehow Nostalgia Critic has come out better. There are people who really don't like James Rolfe. I don't really know why. I haven't looked into it, but I just know they exist. Sausage patty moment.
Hey there, Gov. I hear we finally got a name for these bastards who've been chasing us down. Black Bloody Inferno, eh? Well, that's a load of bollocks, isn't it? You know what a Black Inferno
Oh, I know what you're talking about, Shrek
bloody
Snow.
smoke, mate.
Yeah.
All right then. Nice chat. Gonna get back to
He's got
work.
balls on the dick, true. Balls on the dick. Mosquito Coast, yeah. But honestly, you could watch anything by Werner Herzog. I know you like Fitzcarraldo, but I still think the GOAT is Aguirre, the Wrath of God from him. Obviously, Nosferatu's a classic too, but
Hi, Commander.
Aguirre, the Wrath of God is just so...
The mining company.
The scene where it's just him and the fucking flutist and everything is fucked, he's just... And it's just like, play something for the men.
All we need to do now is choose a new name for our Merc outfits, and we're good to go. I'll leave that up to you. Once you've read...
Alright, what are we naming the mercenary company, guys? Now's the time. I guess we can be Diamond Dogs. Why not? Here, hold on. Let me check something here. Okay, we're good. I just want to make sure there was nothing like crazy in my saves, but there's not. All right, what symbol do we want? Yeah, Apocalypse Now Redux is great. And honestly, it's crazy. Okay, I'll say this about Apocalypse Now Redux. It's wild to me that they took the scene with the French guys out. Where they have dinner with the previous French colonizers. That scene is so important to understand, I feel like, so much of the movie, and they took it out. Favorite Mel Gibson movie? So, I know people really love Apocalypto, and I love Apocalypto. What I think, my theory for Mel Gibson is that he is a perfect example of a director who has continued to learn his lessons and get better as a director. So, Braveheart is terrible. I'm sorry, Braveheart is a fucking terrible movie. Patriot, also bad. Slightly less bad. Apocalypto, very good. But then I think, you know, a lot of people place that as his best movie, but I actually think Hacksaw Ridge is his best movie. And it was so good that it managed to reconcile him with Hollywood, which is wild. But I think Hacksaw Ridge is the best one. But Apocalypto is a close second. And like I said, I guess you say, like, what about The Passion? The Passion is kind of in its own category. You know, it's so funny. When The Passion came out, this was back when I was young, so I was still going to Methodist church. I was raised Methodist. I went to Methodist church every Sunday until I was 18. I chose not to get confirmed. I was 13 because of the education. The education I got had kind of given me some doubts about, just like some soft doubts, and I just kind of wanted to wait. And everyone talked about The Passion. All the sort of people, like moms and teachers and stuff, talk about The Passion, makes you not want to see it. So I didn't see The Passion when it came out. And then I watched it years later, and I saw that it was, like, really good. So I kind of put that in its own category. It's hard for me to even rate The Passion. But as far as everything else, I think Hacksaw Ridge is better than Apocalypto. Although I really do like Apocalypto. Whoa, Snake. Yeah, the one. So I think Andrew Garfield is a really great actor. I love Silence. Silence, I think, is probably Scorsese's, at least my favorite movie from Scorsese. Because it feels like he had the most to say, even if it comes from this sort of weird, warped, lapsed Catholic background. I'm fine with that. Like I said, you kind of have to approach the work from the point of view from the author, even if it's not like exactly what you would want it to be. But Andrew Garfield is great in that. The thing with him with Hacksaw Ridge is he does a good performance, but it's sort of incredulous to believe that a guy like Andrew Garfield, of his size, could physically do the sort of things that are necessary in that movie. And I guess the explanation is that it's a miracle, but I don't know. You can listen to interviews from Andrew Garfield himself, where he talks about how when he was filming it, he could barely carry like one guy. And so it was kind of crazy.
Okay, Commander. Everything is set for our departure. The transport contract with the mining company is a false flag Spears and I set up with their cooperation. The mining company has legally hired us to transport cargo for them. But in reality, there is no cargo. Just a destination and some very convincing paperwork.
So, where are we headed?
We've been asked by Spears to help him out of a jam. I think we owe him.
I agree. What's he need us to do?
Spears works for Interstellar Expeditions, one of the largest archaeological collectives in the Inner Sphere. They do archaeological digs and conduct research into abandoned Star League-era facilities in the pursuit of lost technology from before this. One of the expedition's dig sites has come under attack. A rogue mercenary group is intent on pillaging a Star League supply depot that IE uncovered on Brookland Prime. We're going in to help protect the site. Spears will provide more detailed information on what exactly we're facing once we arrive. For now, I've uploaded the coordinates into the nav system. Before we can launch, you need to sign off on the op and get us to the
Sean Connery, and it's not even close. And my favorite James Bond is From Russia with Love. As far as the movies, I've also read all the books, but the books are a little different. No, I haven't seen Deadwood, but I've been told that it's worth watching the first season. And so I've kind of been meaning to, and then I never got around to it. I've been told that the first season of Deadwood is like really good. True, Idris Elba is Isso's favorite mom. Speaking of Idris Elba, we've been watching The Wire on season 3. Somehow it's one of those things that even though, you know, people say The Wire's like the best show ever made, I never watched it.
Attention. Prepare for battle mech departure.
Yeah, so I mean,
Stand clear.
I have a GameCube. I played Melee and Double Dash when my friends came over. And I have a Switch too. And I also get into me. I played Pokemon. Like my friend had Pokemon Blue, so I would sometimes play on his Game Boy. And then I played a lot of Diamond because I had a DS. I'm trying to think what else would be Nintendo coded. And occasionally, ever since, like every 2 or 3 years, I'll like dip back into Pokemon and play it. So like right now I'm playing Brilliant Diamond. Even though I know it's not a great remake and everything, but fuck it, I don't care. And before that I played on emulator. I played Omega Ruby on emulator. Talk about a good remake. Omega Ruby is probably one of the best remakes of anything. Because it adds like every legendary from every game in one thing. And like an entire another region. I don't know why they didn't do something like that with Diamond. You hate all bonds stuff. No, I didn't have a Wii. I didn't play Wii. I also got Ultimate when it originally came out, and I played for a little bit. I played Ridley online for a little bit.
Proceed to the dig site. Looks like the hostiles have launched another attack wave.
Roger that.
What's the name of the rose? You gotta read the name of the rose, friend. I didn't even know there was a movie adaptation. That's something you gotta read. Mechwarrior's interstellar. Do you mean that there's more than one planet? The whole galaxy, buddy. Yeah, next time I get the Pokemon, like I said, every few years I get a Pokemon itch. Next time I'll probably do Soul Silver. Or, yeah. Because I've heard that that's a really good remake. But yeah, Omega Ruby, I was very impressed with that remake. Like, even coming from a Nintendo product. And you kind of have to lower your expectations on... Not on quality of content, but on, you know... you know how Nintendo is. They nickel and dime you for everything, right? No, man. Mechwarrior's all over the place. It's the whole galaxy. Basically, the lore for Mechwarrior is... Like I said, it's more grounded, where individual countries on Earth colonized a whole bunch of space. Developed into these weird melded cultures where a lot of the distinctness was kept. Then it developed into the Star League after there was a big civil war, where there was a technological renaissance where a lot of the mechs that you're fighting with were invented and the factories were built. Then there was a abortive coup, basically a retard coup, that led to the Star League falling apart. And the four galaxy gets split into 5 slices. Because as the years went on, as the Star League became more corrupt, it became more hereditary and aristocratic. And it splits into the 4, what they're called the 5 successor states. And they all claim to be the Star League Emperor. And then you get 4 succession wars. And the first 2 succession wars, everyone used all their nukes. They used all their crazy shit. And destroyed a lot of the factories that rebuild all these mechs. And so then they had to slowly kind of rebuild the capability to make the... Basically make the tools that make the parts that make the mechs, if you understand. And so then because of that, they had to basically come to an agreement about how to fight wars where they'd be limited so that you don't do that anymore. Unlike 40k, these people are actually reasonable, and when this problem comes up, they come up with like a solution, which is that they come up with the way to fight, which is with these mechs where you set them up in lances, which are like knights, like your best knights, like a tournament, and then you fight over specific things, and you keep the war limited. The problem with that is because it limited war, it meant that none of the successor states could, like, you know, definitively defeat any of the other ones, and so the wars continue even if they're less damaging. And they fight for a while, there's all sorts of drama, and then something very magical happens. Outsiders show up. But, you know, I don't want to spoil things that happened in the setting 40 years ago. My physical cartridges, or do I emulate? So I have all my physical GameCube games, and I have all my physical DS games, and I have a few physical 3DS games. And then I have some physical Switch games. But as far as when I do Pokemon time, I usually emulate, just because it's easier. Although I do have a physical cartridge of Omega Ruby. And I have a physical copy of Double Dash, which somehow is actually worth money. I don't know why. I looked it up, because I have a physical copy of both Melee and Double Dash. And those are going for more than what I paid for them in 2003. When I was, like, spending Christmas money, you know? Yes, there is a Space Alexander. But that's, I don't want to spoil. The descendants of Space, basically, the descendants of Space Alexander, the barbarians who left after the Star League fell, show back up 400 years later to conquer the Diodaki. Would I collab with Ga'Hoole on Sector City? Maybe. Honestly, I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that Ga'Hoole wants to maintain some kind of positive relationship with Brian. And I feel like involving me might sabotage that. I don't know why. Even though I've had no private interactions with Brian and only one public confrontation, he seems to really, not only not like me, but seems to think that I'm, like, malicious just for reposting that Sector City video. I don't know. Also, I'll be real, I don't really want any interactions with Brian. And so if that's kind of the direction that he wants to go, fair enough, that's his prerogative, but that's not what I would want to do. I think... I'll be real, like, when Brian made that comment saying, like, now you'll never get it, like he had anything, like there was leverage, I thought that was kind of laughable. Because, I'll be real, a sector-inspired module for any RPG system could be spun up very quickly. It's not... It didn't need to take 2 years, it doesn't need significant playtesting. The stuff... Anyone who's, like, been into TTRPGs and has read a lot of it, it's kind of a solved thing. You just write a bunch of lore and you steal stats from other stuff that has a similar pacing that you want. Like, that is the long and the short of it, just to be completely honest. I've been DMing D&D and other games since I was 13. The same group of guys that I still play with occasionally now. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. So I don't really care, like, any of the especially considering the setting seems to have been intentionally designed to be a weird revenge fantasy. I don't really see it that way. I think it's cool that Ga'Hoole is trying to make something of all of this. I think that is an admirable goal. But I think that my direct involvement with him might just sabotage it, if he is hoping to get any kind of cooperation from Brian. You played Metroid Prime? No. Never played the Metroid games. I understand there's people who really like them, though.
I swear, these Star League ruins bring nothing but trouble.
Damn, we're gonna fail this because I didn't turn the fucking turrets on. Because it's like one of 2 missions in the game where you can like activate turrets, and I totally forgot. 2 missions in the game with hundreds and hundreds of missions across like 10 DLC. Sorry. Shut the fuck up, Freeman. This guy's gonna join our squad, by the way. Jade Swan Kelly. Alright, let me think about that, Itovian. I will answer, but I gotta ponder the garden. The problem is I feel like I know a lot more about Jade and Mama JF than I do about Swan. So it's kind of hard to play Swan.
Enemy dropship approaching, Commander. Looks like they're bringing in the heavy guns.
Circle of 878 claim to this site. It's ours. There's no shame in admitting defeat, my friend. Leave now, and we'll spare your lives.
Hey, Metroid Avengers, let's start. Take the vaccine.
Son of a bitch.
Did I see Shaggy is still alive? Good for him, man. I'm glad he went. I hope he really went to rehab. Like I said, it takes 5 times on average. So, he's in a long road if that's really what he's trying to do.
Often see those down that it's either destroyed, corrupted, or heavily encrypted.
Come on. Come on, get that headshot. Let's see that Tyson. Who's the guy? The scammer coach in UFC? Fuck.
Damn, I could have saved him.
Shake it up, Commander. The big site still needs defending.
Damn, did we lose Freeman? Oh, you're supposed to recruit that guy. Oh, I fucked that up. Damn it. I want that guy. He's a good pilot. I guess it's kill Jade. Fuck Swan and marry Mama JF, I guess. It's crazy because if it's true, okay, let me give some priors here. If it's true that Swan is older, like old enough to not have kids, I'm not gonna let my bloodline end, right? And I'm not gonna race, and Jade is old too at this point. Whereas we know Mama JF can have kids, because she did. Good JF. Sorry I have to do this again. If I had turned the turrets on from the beginning, but I forgot that that was a thing in this mission. But my kids would be... Yeah, but at least they'd exist, right? Right? Also, yes, she can't have kids because she's dead. But I assumed the question, the implication of the question is that she is alive, right? Okay. How is Jade around 30 when Jim is like in his... I mean, it's not impossible, but I'd be surprised. Yeah, I think... I don't know. Jade had her first... I don't know. That's what everyone says. People say all sorts of shit. But I'm cognizant of the idea that people will just say shit in chat to try to get people to fight with each other. Right? I'm not retarded. At least not that retarded. Oh, so close. Damn, did he just already die? What was that? What happened there? I've never seen that. He must have got hit in that. The thing with Mechwarrior, all the Mechwarriors is if you take enough shots in the head, like in the cockpit, you just die. It doesn't matter anything else. So there is like a luck element to it. She admitted to it on. I'm not, guys. I am not accusing anyone of being a liar. I just understand. I just understand that chat will say crazy shit sometimes, right? Well, there was that turn-based RPG by the Tranny studio. That's kind of okay. I just wish I had more content, honestly, even though the developers are fucked. Okay, so yeah, Jade is 34. It's like over. Alright, this is gonna be the one. I'm sorry. This is not a hard mission. This is not a hard part of the game. It's gonna get a lot harder. I played through most of this game. It's especially you get into the DLCs, it gets a lot harder, but yeah, that one wasn't too faithful. Well, I just mean as far as the rules of the actual tabletop game. It's closer than this, I guess. Like these are action games. Alright, fuck that. I guess he just immediately dies again. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm done. We're just gonna play through this. See, I want to keep you want to keep Freeman alive because he can then become your pilot. He's actually a pretty good pilot, but it's not the end of the world. Trust me, there will be opportunities to recruit fresh meat. So I guess I shouldn't have quit earlier. It's all sunk cost, but you know, you gotta make a call. Mama JF is 33, so not much of it. Okay, I see what your point. Yeah, but Mama JF is a year younger and white, so it's tough. The OG Ocarina of Time, which you have on your Wii. So that's not the OG. Oh, so Freeman is alive. So when I say I should have saved him, it doesn't mean that Freeman's dead. So I've just been wasting my time. That's really good. That's really cool, guys. I'm so retarded. Asians are honorific whites? Not quite, man. We played any of the Zelda games. So my friend down the street had Ocarina of Time, so I played most of that, but not all of it. And I played Breath of the Wild when it came out. But that's it. Now that I have I thought buying the Switch would mean I could replay all these games that I missed, but it's apparently more complicated than that. You have to buy some subscription, and then not all the games that are actually you want to play are on it, and then all this other shit. Alright, we're turning the generator back on. First thing now. Is there a fashy faction in this game? Yeah, buddy.
A mix of airborne and enemy armor, Commander.
Target acquired.
Like, the Capellans are basically national socialism with North Korean characteristics. All of the factions are like aristocratic and have like nobles and stuff. The Capellans are also interesting because if you're a citizen, you get special privileges. So they will like fight to the death for their like territory, even though the entire galaxy villainizes them, which is kind of Kino. There's also a jihad in this game. The word of basically the people who control the communications, the only people who know how to use it, who've turned it into a religious thing. Sound familiar? Eventually, the religious part of it takes over, or at least the schisms with the more technical part. And they call themselves the Word of Blake because the original founder of Comstar, Space AT&T, was called Jerome Blake. And they declared jihad against the galaxy, where they like weaponize the use of communications to like punch above their weight. And yes, it is literally called a jihad in the game. I'm not just saying that. There's also the Koretans, which are basically World War II era Japan. So if you consider that fascist coded, you get that. But they also have a section in their space that are Scandinavians, that have basically been fighting a low-level IRA war for 200 years. And then one of the story arcs is that they finally get their independence after being low-level violent, and then have to defend themselves against Koretan, like, hyper-nationalists who decide to go off the reservations and fight them. But they're like... But then when, you know, Alexander the Great's descendants show up and invade, they get hit first, but because they have, like, 200 years of IRA experience, they, like, pwn them eventually and force the clan that invades to integrate with them. One thing that's interesting about BattleTech is that unlike 40K, like the old world cultures and religions are still here. So they're like actually still Scandinavian, like they're actually still Americans. There's Christians, there's Catholics, well, Christians are Catholics obviously, but I mean that there's like Christianity and then specifically Catholicism and Protestantism and Anglicanism, like they're all still here, same with Islam. Like there's no discontinuity. And it's all just like, and they've managed to maintain their like individual identities, like national and racial identities into the future. But just make like strategic alliances. One of the main successor states, the Free Worlds League, which is probably my favorite, alongside the Capellans, is basically Space Austria-Hungary, or Space Holy Roman Empire, where they're like, have a parliament and all the planets are like pseudo-independent and they're super like dysfunctional when they attack, but they're really hard to fight because they're actually like really rich underneath it all because they're so autonomous. And their like ruling dynasty is just trying to like hold it together and reform it. Then there's a faction, the Federated Sons, which is basically Space America, where they LARP like they're more righteous than everyone, but really they're just as like aristocratic as everybody else. And so they try to use like liberation as a casus belli, but then it always like comes off as hollow. Then there's Steiner, which is like basically Space Imperial Germany, where it's like a constitutional monarchy and they're like known for just being like really rich. When is the game set? 3000. 2015 is usually when like the popular setting starts. That's the beginning of the 3035 is the beginning of the first succession war, or the fourth succession war. But it goes on for like another 200 years, like the main popular settings. And you can play this game through a full 150 years, through a bunch of events and stuff. It's pretty cool. Is there Space Israel? No. Are there mech bombings? Yeah, there's everything, man. There's terrorism. There's crazy shit. There's also a mech gladiator industry that's like football with announcers that you can play, but it's like mechs fighting.
I swear, these Star League ruins bring nothing but trouble.
There's also the Space Catholic Church that is still also Earth itself is owned by nobody, is owned by Comstar, Space AT&T, as sort of like a DMZ, and the way they hold it is that Comstar, no one can communicate faster than light communications without Comstar because they're the only ones who know how to run the facilities. They also have the Com Guards, which are basically a like stockpile of old technology like super mechs. But there's Space Catholic Church in Rome, but there was a schism with the Catholic Church in the Davian. Davian is the house, because that's the thing. You like everything is known by the house less than the nation, because the nation's like a meme. But the Federated Sons, there was a schism where basically when the Star League fell apart, the bishop of the capital of the Federated Sons thought that Terra was like the Pope died, so they voted for a new Pope in the capital of Davian space. And then when it turned out that the Pope in Rome had actually not only survived, but sort of like with Attila the Hun had stopped the Civil War, the Federated Sons, House Davian said, hey, just don't acknowledge him. And so there's a schism there. So, like I said, Earth is still around. It's ruled by Space AT&T. It's sort of like this neutral party that runs the communication systems. And if anyone fucks with them, they turn off your communications and your whole empire falls apart. They do an interdict on you. But because it's been so long and because of like the way it works, it's sort of taken on a pseudo-religious character, sort of like the ad mech in 40K. Turn around, turn around. Boom, got him. See, we can't let any of them hit one part of us for too long. Oh shit, we lost a cannon. Where is our guys? We're going back. We're going back. Run. Yes, it does still suck like AT&T. Yeah, we shouldn't have come over here. Usually later in the game, when you have a full lance, you do want to jump these guys right when they jump out, but I'm being a noob. And not recognizing that this is still the start of the game. Oh, we have a repair bay? Where? Oh, fuck, I should have used that before I came over here. I could have saved my cannon. Good thing all the weapons we have on here are shit. Dude, later in the game, like, trying to preserve high-quality weapons is a whole fucking thing. Are there aliens? Technically, no. But when the descendants of Space Alexander the Great show up, they may as well be aliens. Because they're so foreign to the successor state humans. And the way that they order their society, and the way that they work. That's the clan invasion. And it's like a big event. The problem is, like, the big spoiler in Battletech took place in the 90s in the real world, but because Battletech is not, like, super popular, a lot of people still don't know about it, so I don't want to spoil too much. What happened to US and Russia? So they were there. So all those nationalities did, like, colonize, like, themselves. But there was this entity called the Star, and they rebelled. Basically, the outer colonies rebelled against Earth at one point. And then eventually, there, after that war, there was an agreement that created something called the Star League, which is Space Rome. And then when it fell apart, there's all these successor states. And then, like I said earlier, the first couple success, basically, as there was like a retard coup on Earth over the Star League Emperor. And then after that failed, it led the local nobility of the quadrants of space to declare themselves to be Star League Emperor, which led to the succession wars. And the first succession war, everyone used all their nukes and crazy weapons, which destroyed a lot of the factories that build the parts that build the mechs. And so it didn't mean the technology was lost, it just meant it was very restricted how much you could make. And so then they all came together and made these guidelines of how to fight wars in the future where they'd be limited, and it would basically be lances of mechs fighting like knights, almost like a tournament, to limit the scale of the wars, so that they wouldn't lose any more technology, which did prevent them from losing more technology and let them start kind of redeveloping things. The problem is it meant that it prevented any one successor state from definitively winning because the scales were so small. Are they biologically distinct? They're genetically enhanced through eugenics and cloning, but they're still human. I played both Kingdom Come Deliverance streams. We could play that. It would just be me talking about random errata of medieval bullshit for 2 hours. Yeah, whatever, Freeman. Alright, I'm gonna ask for a sit rep on the hot tub status.
You hadn't dropped in. I appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to help. Just wish we'd gotten here sooner. Me too. You know, we could always use another pilot. One with your skills, he'd come in awful handy. What do you think?
After today? Hell, it'd be an honor to serve with you, Commander.
Then consider it done. Welcome aboard.
So they did find worlds that already had ecology, just not intelligent life. Didn't we lose our cannon in this? Are we not going to get another one? Ah, whatever. We must defend the synagogue. True. That's what we did. The dig site. The synagogue dig site.
Let's hope so.
But we need more than one client if we're going to survive out here. That's what I wanted to talk with you about. Our next move. We're operating with a clear...
Guys, the tub is at 96 degrees. Do we move to the hot tub?
A whole new name, new outfit. Now we need to get to work rebuilding our capabilities and establishing our reputation. Won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. You up for it?
What do you think?
I think we better get started then. Plenty of war zones in the inner sphere where we can pick up work. A few safe harbors as well.
It's like in the old rulebooks and stuff, but I don't think too crazy.
First, we need to earn some sea bills.
Like I said, not enough to qualify as like intelligent aliens. But there's like a lot of writing actually for this setting, for like the old supplemental rulebooks and stuff. So
seems Spears has put the word out to his colleagues that we can be trusted to get the job done. Before diving right in, I recommend we head to one of the industrial hubs in this region. We
Yeah,
have
I know about all this. Make money, don't be retarded. Got it. Armed robbery, let's go. Alright, let's repair our shit. Well, let's move, actually, first. So one nice thing about this game is it does give you the map of everything. You get the whole inner sphere here. So, this is green, these are the Capellans. This is like space... They're basically National Socialism, like citizen soldiers with North Korean characteristics. This is the Federated Suns. This is like Space America plus Space England. They LARP like they're a democracy, but they're not. They still have like noble houses and are an oligarchy. This is Space Austria-Hungary that I was talking about. This is Space German, Imperial Germany, Constitutional Monarchy. And then this is Space World War II Japan. And then Earth is right in the middle. Look, Comstar. We have news. We have a new mech. Either developing new technology or redeveloping technology, I guess I should say. So we're gonna go here so we can repair. It's cheaper to repair when you're in industrial systems. Why do I have a, oh, I see. Co-op is available. According to our person here. Alright, let's... Where would you recommend to start? You can kind of start anywhere. Oh, for Battletech, like in general? This game, honestly, this game is a great way to start getting into Battletech. Because this game literally goes through the entire timeline. With like all the major events with the DLC and stuff. It's kind of like the best way to get in if you're going to. Obviously, and you got to think about price, right? So the miniatures game and all the books is actually, because Battletech is sort of like an underdog, they're really nice about it. You can proxy stuff. It's very easy to play the game with just like cardboard cutouts. But if you just want to read like lore and stuff like unconstructed without like a throughput narrative, you can online. There's Sarna.net, which is like, you know, their wiki. But if you want it in like a constructed way, this would be the place. As far as starting in this game, like through the campaign, here's the thing. What years do we... I forget. It's 3:15. So when we get to I think it's 35, we're going to start hitting major events. We're going to hit the Fourth Succession War. We're going to hit stuff like that. And then you get into... there any Nigo or Sar? Not really, no. Not at the top level. There are like individual worlds that might be majority from a certain country. Like they'll have that, but not really. Yeah, way fucking cheaper than GW, I'll tell you that. But yeah, what's nice about this game is if you just play it normally, it will walk you through the entire timeline. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, you will learn everything. Like, it gives you the news things and all sorts. Oh, yeah, here we go. I forgot there was a first page to this. So, Comstar hosts Liao Merrick. So, the Merricks are the house that nominally rule the Free Worlds League, which is like the purple slice. That's like Space Austria-Hungary. Comstar First Circuit welcomed Capellan Confederation. So Capellans, that's the green little thing in the middle. That's like National Socialist North Korea. Liao, that's their like ruling house. And Free Worlds League Duke of Procyon Anton Merrick to their facilities on Hilton Head Island. Hilton. The hotels are still here. For a peace summit between the two great houses. After decades of animosity along their border, seeking de-escalation. The reason they are is because they were fighting, and then it's like leading up to the FedComs, which is Davian, fucking with them. Newly crowned Prince Hans Davian has returned to Federated Sun. That's the yellow. The yellow sphere in the bottom right. It's like Space America. Holding a successful raid against House Kurita's House Station. In a press conference held on the system of Silene, representatives of AFFS presented evidence that House Kurita was in the process of constructing new arms and munitions supply depots in the system with the intent to threaten hostilities along the border. Kurita is the top right, the red. They're like space World War II Japan samurai. How common are high elves? I actually don't know of any high elves in the setting. I can't think of any. At least not any in any prominence. I'm serious. I'm not just saying, like, I'm not like a super lore expert, but I can't think of, I mean, I'm sure they are, like, they have to be, given when this game was made, but, like, I can't think of any in prominent roles. When asked about Hans Davian's personal involvement in the raid, the FFS responded preparations for the raid were planned prior to the previous first prince, Ian Davian's death. Hans Davian strongly believed, Hans Davian is very important. He's going to become very important as you play the game. Strongly believed the mission was too important to disrupt through a change in leadership at the 11th hour. With the raid now complete, First Prince Davian will return to New Avalon, which is the capital of Space America, to focus on matters of the state. The January raid has marked the completion of Hans Davian's first 90 days in office since acceding to the Federated Son's throne after the death of his brother. In an explosive announcement from New Delos, Anton Merrick denounced his brother, Captain General Janus Merrick, as unfit to rule the Free Worlds League, declaring himself the true Captain General of the Free Worlds League. Anton with the back, so this is like a proxy war. The Capellans are supporting this supposed brother of the king, essentially, of Space Austria-Hungary, to start a weird proxy war. This is the thing about the politics. It's like, there's all sorts of weird shit going on at all the times. There's a lot. For a setting that is not that popular, there's a lot. there's a lot going on all the time. And look, and Maximilian Liao applauds Anton Merrick's rebellion. Of course he does. Dispatching the elite Wolf's Dragoons mercenary unit to aid. So yeah, there's like a mercenaries are really big in this, obviously, since, like I said, after the first and second succession war, they set up this whole board. You're locked to the IS. No, you can go wherever you want. You can serve, you can fight for whoever you want. Mercenaries are important because, like I said, since they set those rules for confining warfare between, like, elite lances of mechs, obviously you want, like, good mercs, right? From this moment, I have no brother. So there's a succession war in the Free Worlds League. First all-female mercenary unit. We'll see how that goes. Alright, I think it's hot tub time, guys. We got arenas, but too high difficulty at this point. Okay, stand by, everybody. We're moving to the hot tub. Expect a new stream here in I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Something like that.